Okay, fine. Greetings, people. Let's continue with the patterns of inheritance. We have done 4 so far, which are complete dominance, incomplete dominance, codominance, and polygenic inheritance. So we've been busy with those 4. It's very important to know them because in your exam, it's possible that in section B, question 4, paper 2, we'll find 1. In section A, question 1, you may find 1 or 2 times, mostly in 1.3 or 1.4, but you can also get them in 1.1 and 1.2. Let's do this one, which is very simple. We give it a name and say it's atavism. What do we mean by atavism, people? The definition that we have here, it says, atavism is the reappearance of an ancestral characteristic in an organism after the characteristic has been absent for many generations. What do we mean by this statement, people? We are saying here a characteristic that we call an ancestral. So it means it's a characteristic that is from the ancestors. Ne? It is reappearing after that characteristic has been absent for many generations. So what is happening here, people? You find that the ancestor had a certain characteristic. Then suddenly the characteristic disappears. The characteristic disappears. Then for many generations, that characteristic is not there. Then all of a sudden, that characteristic reappears again. We call that patterns of inheritance. We call that pattern of inheritance atavism, because we say that characteristic has reappeared while it was absent for many generations. I hope you are trying to get this one. So what you have to understand here, people, is that what will happen is that the character is overcorner. Then when you made parents out too, the offspring ingasabi nayo leyo characteristic. Kube ngama generations after generations, generation after generations, leyo characteristic leyo ingaveli. Then all of a sudden, mawuthi uyamate futhi abanye abazali abawu-2 babuyise le characteristic le eyayikhona kudala kodwa beseyingekho kulama generations lawa ebesinawo. Then what has happened there? There was a reappearance of an ancestral. We say ancestral because the characteristic le beyikhona kuma ancestors ale offspring esesinayo manje. Then we say that characteristic reappears after it has been absent for many generations. I hope you get this one. Let me give you this example. We have this example, people. What are we saying in this example? We are saying a Friesland Kerkli were red and white in color. Follow the argument for you to understand the definition or to understand the pattern of inheritance. The 2 parents were red and white in color. Ne? When these 2 parents were red and white in color, they mated. Ne? When they mated, they produced an offspring now that was black and white. Do you see now that there is no longer red? So if there is no longer red, it means now we have what? It means now we have what? We have black and white. I'll say red. So red now has disappeared. What will happen next? They say the red color became recessive and the black color became dominant. So what has happened that the red is now recessive. Remember, we said a recessive gene is masked by what? By a dominant gene. Ne? So they say the red color became recessive while the black color became dominant. So the color that was dominant now was black. So we can say black is the one that was shown on the phenotype while the red was recessive. Let's see what happens. When a black and white bull and the black and white cow were crossed, now you are crossing two. A black and white bull and the black and white cow. They are crossed. Ne? What will happen next? They produced an offspring that is red and white. We are crossing black and white, no black and white. Sisibona manje sekubuya i-offspring red and white. What does that mean, people? It means that this red has been absent for many generations. Then what happens to this red? It reappears again. Hence we can say this red is an ancestral characteristic. So we say, what is atavism? Atavism, people, we say it is the reappearance of an ancestral characteristic that has been absent for many generations. Ibingekho ured bosonyamalela ngithi. Then masithi siyacrossa futhi so wenza njani ured uyavela once again. Then we call this one atavism. You must understand why ured wase awusabonakala. Ured awubonakalanga because the red became recessive. Then manje so uyabuya ured. Why ured sesiwubona manje? Back then when we were talking about a monohybrid cross, we said a recessive allele will only show on the phenotype if both alleles are recessive. It's a homozygous recessive. So what has happened now is that kwenzeke i-cross whereby kuhlangene a recessive allele and another recessive allele. So both the parents, they contributed what? A red allele. As a result, sakhona ukuba no red food. So we say this occurred because both the two parents donated a recessive red color to the offspring. So as a result, if as a result you will find that so in that case the red is able to be shown on the phenotype. So that is the simplest part of understanding the pattern of inheritance esiyibiza ngani nge-atavism. I hope you get this one. Let's look at this one. Here is just the example esinayo ngaliana. What is happening here, people, is that sino black and white, siyukrossa nobani no black and white. Do you see that kulama parents lawa asinawo u-red and white? Sikrossa u-black and white, sikrossa nobani nomunye u-black and white. Ake sibone ukuthi kule ngane esinazo sinengane ezikanjani. We have offspring number 1 is black and white. Offspring number 2 it's black and white. Offspring number 3 is black and white. Look at offspring number 4. Look at offspring number 4. Look at offspring number 4. It is now red and white. So what has happened, people, here is that there was a reappearance of the red color that has been absent for many generations. This characteristic, which is red, has just reappeared, but it was absent for many generations. And then we give that a name and say it's atavism. This one, they may give you in a scenario, cross two animals, then kuvela i-characteristic engekho kulelwane eziwu-2, because uyabona ukuthi u-red awukho la, awukho nala. Kodwa sesiyawubona kule ngane. Kusho ukuthini? Kusho ukuthi khona i-characteristic esevelile. But this characteristic has been absent for many generations. We say there's a reappearance of that characteristic. Then the name of that pattern of inheritance, it's what? It's atavism. Before I forget, atavism, ngane zakwethu, we sometimes call it a throwback. We sometimes give it a name, sitting throwback. But if they ask you in section A, what is the name of that pattern? You say atavism. They will ask you, what is another name that we sometimes give to atavism? You must be able to say it's throwback. Yagiyaba khona le characteristic. Then yanyamalala for many generations. Then say yabuya futhi. Iyavela again. Then we say it's what? It's throwback. I hope you understand this one. It's very simple. An activity will be sent to you, and make sure that you do it. Before you do the activity, watch the video more than 3 times. Then do the activity. That's when you will be able to get right answers. Thank you. Tsabetse here.